The Indian Muswalid and the Rage of Muslims of the Walid by Dr. A. Ahmad. This narration continues the story of the Arab sugar daddy and the beautiful Indian girl, and the story of the Indian child bride and the old Arab husband. They were written in English and translated into Arabic by Dr. A. Ahmad. It is a love story narrated in 6 books. Book 3, From a Slum Girl to the Queen of the World Beauty. Copyright. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by enemies without the prior written permission of the author, except by the reviewer, who may quote brief passages from the review for general printing in a magazine, newspaper, or a school journal or university article. All characters in this novel are fictional, and any resemblance to actual person, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Chapter 6, A Blind Vigilante Justice. When Mr. Joseph Verges arrived in jail, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed awaited his second trial. Muslims in Bombay raised huge funds for the defense of their Muslim brother, who was unjustly imprisoned, as they so believed. His Saudi wives, sons, daughters, grandchildren, and other Arab relatives have forsaken him, and no one is willing to appoint another Muslim lawyer for him. Therefore, the Muslim community in Mumbai decided to step up to help their Muslim brother. They knew and understood that what he had done by marrying the 11-year-old Muslim girl was not haram or forbidden under Sharia law. Many Muslims in India and Pakistan know that the Prophet Muhammad had married a 6-year-old girl called Aisha and slept with her when she became 9. For that reason, they collected a half crore of rupees, or 5 million Indian rupees, which equals around 72,000 American dollars, and appointed for his defense the best Muslim lawyer in Mumbai. The legal case of the old Arab man has created all new battle lines between the Muslim and Hindu communities. Hindus want the bedefied Arab man to be hanged to death, and Muslims want him to walk out of jail with his head held high in honor. Before the case of the despicable old geezer, Hindus and Muslims used to have two main battlegrounds for fighting. They fight physically by engaging in killing each other in cities like Ahmedabad, New Delhi, Mumbai, and Aligarh. And the second method of fighting is the cricket field. Whenever the Indian cricket team met the Pakistani cricket team, the two communities considered it a place of real combat, just like gladiators fighting in the Roman Colosseum, or warriors fighting dangerous beasts in the Roman amphitheater. When whosoever defeated the other is the winner of the warfare, and its followers will celebrate with fireworks. Muslims, however, have another dirty way of killing Hindus, which is now and again planting bombs in local trains and public places. However, this cowardly scheme is never the Hindus' weapon of choice. The illegal marriage of the underage Hyderabadi girl Amina Hyder Ali and the old Arab man Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed is considered a new set battleground for fighting between those two bitterest enemies. Some Muslim mullahs and imams of mosque met with the family of Amina Hyder Ali and gave them 500,000 Indian rupees. Therefore, they have convinced them to appear in the High Court again and testify that they had deceived the old Arab man by telling him that their daughter is 17 years old. Moreover, those prominent Muslim leaders sent the mother to her daughter and convinced her to back up her word in court. This required that Amina say that she lied to the old man about her age too. The Muslim community demanded that the judge of the old Saudi man must not be a Hindu man or a Hindu female. They asked the government of Maharashtra to appoint a Muslim judge at the High Court. The government accepted the first demand and rejected the second one. It decided to appoint a judge who was neither a Hindu nor a Muslim. It appointed a Christian judge with jurymen that consisted of Sikhs and Buddhists, without a single Hindu or a Muslim with them. When the newly appointed Christian judge of the High Court was interviewed a couple of days before the final trial, he told the Times of India that the suspected old Arab man was likely to walk out of the High Court as a free man. He said that all the pieces of evidence indicated that he was deceived by the family of the underage Muslim girl and the owner of the marriage agency in Hyderabad city about the real age of his underage child bride. As a result, everyone came to believe that the result of the second verdict of the High Court was going to be the same as the Ferris foil plot. A suitable defile once again is going to be acquitted of the hideous crime and sent to his country with honor. Therefore, the interview with the Christian judge created great hope in the hearts of Muslims and made them celebrate all night long with fireworks before the Mumbai High Court delivered its final verdict. However, the Hindus and the other religious communities have become extremely disappointed by the interview of the new judge. When only 24 hours were remaining before the final trial was to take place and the Christian main judge of the Mumbai High Court to deliver his verdict, an incident occurred inside the Arsa Road jail which changed the outcome of the trial. The incident terminated the need for a trial at all. The Mumbai midday newspaper published the breaking news that the suspected old Saudi man, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, has been mutilated, castrated, and strangled inside the jail by one of his inmates. That inmate is none other than the avenger of all vigilante justice. Yes, it is the one and only one who took cruel revenge on the rapists of his Christian daughter, Mr. Joseph Verges, who is about 30 years his junior, in a surprise attack, punched the old geezer in the back of his head and knocked him to the floor of his cell. Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed is swimming in the head and seeing circles as he fell to the ground and cracked his right hip. He is in no way a match for the younger, stronger Assyrian and starts howling for help. Mr. Joseph Verges stuffed an oversized sock in his mouth full of excrement. With the foul taste in his mouth suffocating him, Sheikh Ahmed started gagging and gasping for air. Mr. Verges then took the Sheikh's hands and began to bind them with shoestrings behind his back. Sheikh Ahmed, as much as he tries, is unable to escape being bound and tied, for he is completely immobilized due to his broken hip and the pain radiating throughout his body while he is choking on feces. With a homemade knife, Mr. Verges cut off Sheikh Ahmed's dirty penis and testicles. The Sheikh's torture is immeasurable as he screams in pure agony and harrowing pain and torment, but his screams are reduced to deep, muffled groans with blood gushing from his mutilated genitals. Mr. Virgis then removed the sock from the old man's mouth and then squashed it and sprayed it into his face and nose. While screeching in pain and choking on the fecal matter in his mouth and up to his nose, Mr. Joseph Vergis replaced the dirty socks with the chubby old man's penis down his throat. The old man is covered in blood from his lower extremity to his face, with blood clouding his eyes, ears, and nose, cutting off his air supply. Being robbed of air, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed starts to turn from red to blue and is strangled to death by the object in his throat. Mr. Virgis places his knees on his neck and in his face just like a butcher slaughtering an old goat. And that is how the devil's soul of the defiled Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed departed from the world and descended into hell to burn forever and ever in the bottomless pit, while he is waiting for the day when he shall stand before the white throne of Christ and then get condemned and cast into the lake of fire. He will be there for eternity with his false prophet, the Antichrist, and the devil and their followers. His mutilated corpse has been taken by Hindu police guards and burned it into ashes as if the Saudi Arab man is a Hindu man. Those Hindu guards knew if they deliver his corpse to Muslims, they would bury him in the Islamic Qabristan or a Muslim graveyards, make him a great Muslim saint, and pay homage to his tomb every year. Muslim women might regularly visit his shrine and get blessing for themselves and their unmarried daughters. Therefore, when Muslim came to know the janaza or a burial of the murdered Saudi Muslim man was conducted by Hindu guards and his corpse was burned to ashes, they became exceedingly outraged. In the meantime, Hindus all over Hindustan have become overjoyed and celebrated greatly with fireworks, glorifying the brave Christian man, Mr. Joseph Vergis, who is judge, jury, and executioner, righteously carrying out the death penalty against the Muslim pedophile and unrepentant child rapist. He has become a great hero in their eyes, administrating the punishment of the gods of Hindustan, which no one in the entire government of India is courageous enough to do. Some of the Hindus hang on the walls of their walls the Christian man photo and put it in their houses and office buildings. They said prayers and lit candles to show devotion to the new incarnation of their Hindu god. They also have circulated his photos all over India and other countries of the world through their Facebook pages, Messenger, electronic mail, and YouTube pages. They made him the greatest man of the 21st century. Some Hindus began to offer prayers to him and worship him as one of their new Indian gods. Therefore, the murder of the old servant inside the Arsa Road jail made Hindus rejoice and consider the Christian man, Mr. Joseph Virgis, who administrated the vigilante justice, as more than an ordinary human being, but one of their mothering gods. Muslims, of course, felt they have been deprived of what is sure to be a clear and decisive victory. In the meantime, the murder of the evil Arab monster made the case of the Vergis family well known throughout the country. The media wrote extensively about it. It has been revealed to the public that Mr. Joseph Vergis is deprived of his beloved son Joshua by Muslim terrorists. It is also reported that his only daughter, Rita, lost her honor and killed herself because a Muslim boy raped her when she was just a minor. Many non-Muslim people consider him to be justified in what he did to the Muslim boy. The same people also praise him for his brave decision to murder a kidnapper and rapist of an 11-year-old female child. When the police interrogated him, Mr. Joseph Vergis said that he killed the old Saudi man because he had done a great evil by raping under the justification of Islamic child marriage an underage Indian girl. He says that he would not have killed him if he had not learned that the evil old Saudi is going to walk out of jail a free man in 24 hours with his head lifted in honor. Some Muslim men led by their bigotry and hatred and the need to get revenge broke into the house of Mr. Vergis in the Bruveli area and raped his innocent wife Suzanne. After that, they murdered her in a very cruel way. They cut off her hands and legs and cut out her tongue too. They then drove hot, long, sharp metals into her eyes. Finally, they beheaded her and fled. No one knew about the murder of Mrs. Suzanne Vergis until her decomposed dead body began to smell. Some of the neighbors called the police and reported a vengeance order coming from the apartment of the Vergis family. When the police arrived and broke down the door of the apartment, they found her body decomposing. One heard the news of the brutal way his wife, Suzanne, has been raped and murdered by some Muslim men. Mr. Joseph Vergis blamed himself for causing the death of his beloved wife, Suzanne, too. He lost his mind thinking about it over and over again, screaming why day and night and banging himself against the parts of his cells. When he became depressed, despairing, and suicidal, he was put in a straitjacket, transferred from jail to a mental hospital, and declared mentally unstable and unable to stand trial. Soon after arriving, some Muslim terrorists made their way into the mental hospital and shot him full of bullets. There is not a single inch of his body not touched by a bullet from the gunmen. Hindus and followers of other religions condemn the brutal murder of Mr. Joseph Vergis, and they lamented it over the cruel way his wife Suzanne was raped and cruelly butchered by Muslims. They consider him a great Indian hero, and thousands of Hindus and followers of other religions attended the funeral of the greatest martyr in Mumbai's history. Hindus counted Mr. Joseph Vergis as a great Indian hero and counted him as a new avatar of their warrior god Krishna. His tomb and the shrine of his wife Susan became a holy shrine for Hindus to visit every year, just like their sacred holy rivers Ganga and Yamuna. Chapter 7, the blackmailing phone call. The murder of the old Saudi man by one of his inmates made his captive Indian wife, Ifat Khan, the richest woman in India. She is entitled to a bank balance of over 400 crores of rupees, which equals over 4 billion Indian rupees, plus another bank account of 14 crores, which is equivalent to 140 million rupees. She has a total bank balance of 4 billion rupees plus 140 million rupees is equal to 4 billion 140 million Indian rupees. This huge amount of money equals around 60 million American dollars. Even the daughter of the richest Indian man, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, is not that rich girl. She is the richest person in Asia with a net. He is the richest person in Asia with a net worth of US 81 billion dollars. US dollar at 1 billion, and as of October 2020, the sixth richest person in the world. Ifat Khan also automatically inherited all her late Saudi husband's properties in Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Eritrea. Nevertheless, the kidnapped, imprisoned, and forcefully married girl Ifat Khan knows nothing about her huge largesse, nor is she likely to know. She has merely exchanged hands from one evil master to another evil master, albeit at first glance, the latter being a bit more civilized than the former. Her destiny took her from one terrorist of Muhammad to another devil of Islam. She just exchanged hands with Satan to his Antichrist. In the beginning, she saw that her new Indian master was less evil than her Arab master. However, as soon as she agreed to marry him and sleep with him, Mahmoud was sleep with him. Sleep with Mahmud Khan. She discovered that the old Saudi monster was much less cruel than the new devil incarnate. The greatest Bollywood film director turned out to be a sadist who enjoys sexual intercourse by beating and torturing his sexual female partner. The more his female sex victim feels the pain and agony and suffers, the more he enjoys the sex. He tortured her by slapping her cheeks, smacking her buttocks, biting her shoulders, squeezing her breast, biting their nipples, and whipping her on her back. His cruel beatings turned Iffat's life into a living hell. She hates him with bitterness and loses having sex with him. If she could have, she would have killed him over and over again for all the pains and unbearable torture he is subjecting her to day and night. Ifat had never thought of killing herself before until she began having sexual intercourse with the evil sadist. She tried several times to kill herself, but she always failed. She simply does not have the slightest idea of how to do it effectively. Her screams from the unbearable pain do not go unnoticed by the people around her. The many servants, maid servants, guards, and others working in the huge household of Mahmud Khan. Hear her crying, screaming, and calling for help every day. But since they know that that is the way their master enjoys sex with the young girls, he had brought them to his farmhouse before. None of them objected it or tried to intervene to save the new young film actress. They whispered to each other that since the girl agreed to it, why should they bother about her? They noticed the only difference between the previous female victims and the present girl is the long duration she held their master's interest. The other girls at the most did not stay more than a few days or a few weeks, depending on the jobs they were over in his films. But surprisingly, this new beautiful teenage girl has been a female guest for many months, and no one knows when or if she is going to leave and return to wherever she has come from. The one thing about this new girl is that she stuck out like a sore thumb, and that she can win the favor of the most famous film director in India, despite being an illiterate girl who does not know how to read or write any language, including Hindi and English, which are imperative languages for Bollywood actresses. The servants found it hard to believe that such a young and beautiful Indian girl had never been to school in all her life. She does not look like the poor girl that he might claim to have been found by chance somewhere picked up from the slums or the streets of Mumbai. She looks extremely healthy, and that assured them she used to live in a luxurious home before she came to live in the palace farmhouse of their master. Mahmud Khan has informed none of his servants that he actually has married the new girl, and now she is his Muslim wife number 2. He is planning to keep his second Muslim wife, Iffat Khan, in his farmhouse forever. He does not want the outside world to see her or to know about her. He just wants to use her to satiate his deviant sexual needs. But then this brutal torture has come to an abrupt halt one day. With a single phone call the evil sadist has received. The caller left a message on his cell phone implying that he knows all about the new teenage girl he is keeping at his farmhouse. He claimed to have videos of him beating, torturing, raping her every day. To convince Mahmud Khan, he says that he would soon mail a copy of one of the incriminating videos to his farmhouse address. He has been advised that upon receipt of the video, he is required to watch it and then decide between having them go public or paying 10 crores of rupees to close this uncomfortable chapter in his life. The caller has demanded 100 million Indian rupees. The renowned Bollywood film director understood a public scandal of this degree would be the final nail in his coffin and sound a death bell on his illustrious career. Not to mention, he might go to jail forever or get hanged for it. Faced with the choices offered by the blackmailer, he realizes his only option is to fulfill the demand of the unknown extortioner and trust him to keep his word. He knows from the confidence of the caller and the way he spoke that he has indeed come into possession of some illicit tapes of him and his captive female victim Iffat Khan. What troubled Mahmud Khan The most was how the caller managed to sneak inside his highly secure farmhouse and videotaped his sex sessions. After he had blackmailed Ifat Khan for secret Islamic marriage and sex, he had removed all the secret surveillance cameras that he had installed to spy on her and see her stripping naked every time she took a shower or watched pornographic videos and masturbated bare naked. He is adamant about restricting access to Ifat's bedroom whenever he is in the bedroom with her, and he locks the wide doors. He doubted any of his servants would have the resources or the guts to spy on him, nor did he believe they had the brains or know how to leverage the situation to outsmart him. This is not his first time around the block. He knew what he was doing. His modus operandi had never varied with any of his former female victims. Some of those girls were even younger than Ifat. One girl was 14 years old and another 15 years old when he brought them together at the same time and raped them and stole their virginities. Yet nothing like this had ever happened before. No one had ever objected to those underage girls he had seduced into his bedchamber. In the past, he even once slept with a 9-year-old girl who was supplied to him by a Muslim bim from the Grand Road area, which is called Faris Road, brothel houses, without any of his servants objecting or reporting him to the law enforcement. That female child was bought from her parents in Aligarh city through the Islamic mock marriages of female children and brought to Mumbai. Then her fake Muslim husband sold her to the Muslim bim at Grand Road. The bim resold her to the Bollywood pedophile Mahmoud Khan. Unfortunately, that poor female child could not survive the unbearable torture of child rape by an evil sadist and died within 3 days from the time the wicked Muslim man began to rape her. She was buried inside his farm prison, and her sad story was buried with her. No servant had ever breathed a word to the police, nor had they tried to blackmail their evil master for raping to death a female child of 9. By the way, most of his men servants and maid servants and security guards are Muslims too. So he knows if they objected to his marriage to a 9-year-old Muslim girl from Aligarh city, he would have reminded them of their Prophet Muhammad and his 6-year-old girl, the child bride Aisha. For that reason, the famous film director has concluded that his nemesis must then be intruder. Mahmoud Khan is not too worried about the amount of money that the blackmailer has asked for. He is phobic about the very real possibility that his scorer might continue to blackmail him indefinitely, with no guarantee of a permanent solution and with the possibility of losing crores and crores of rupees. He decided to figure a way to get out of the mess he created for himself, get the incriminating videos back from his blackmailer, and silence him forever. If he could determine the blackmailer's location, it would be a simple matter to get his Muslim gangsters or a gundas to neutralize him and retrieve all the videos in question. By the way, in India, every big politician, influential religious leader, and wealthy and famous man must either be a gangster with his dangerous gangs to protect him from other gangs or be affiliated with an existing gang and pay them regularly to protect him and also protecting his family members. Therefore, Mahmud Khan had one of the most dangerous Muslim gangs in Mumbai. Hindus and other gangs fear Muslim gangs more than they fear Satan and his demons. No matter how influential and smart he might be, still the famous film director could not trace the phone call. His blackmailer has blessed the call from a public phone in the Dadar area. That night, Mahmud Khan could not sleep until he filled his big stomach with many bottles of Kingfisher beers. Understandably, that night is the only night he allowed his new female victim, Iffat Khan, to sleep unmolested since the day she had yielded to his blackmail, agreed to marry him as his second secret Muslim wife. When Mahmud Khan awoke the following day, he found that the postman had already delivered the mail. As promised, the video arrived in his regular mail. He went to his private office, closed all windows and doors, and inserted the video cassette in the player attached to his TV. What greeted his eyes was incredible. The footage is sharply focused as if shot by a professional. This particular tape was videotaped while he held a whip in his right hand and flogged Iffat Khan on her back and buttocks while she was fully naked, with vivid footage of red and swollen bruises on her body. The audio of the footage showed him biting into her shoulder and her crying out in unbearable pain. He continued biting her viciously, and she screamed even louder. He watched it as the footage showed him releasing his bite and reaching around with his left hand to maul her breast. Iffat's screams reached a crescendo, and her body spasmodically jerked when he twisted her nipple. He watched as he dropped his whip and began to slap Iffat in her face, striking her. With her ear, she pulled away from him, and he reined her back in with a violent and sustained yank of her long hair. The tape showed her yielding to the bull and screaming for help. His image on the screen showed a loving man, driven by her cries and pain, standing in front of her with a full erection. Iffat looked defeated without a shred of clothing to cover her delicate young body. He can see her black pubic hair covering her vagina. The following scene showed him sodomizing the 18-year-old girl. He is neither gentle nor shows any restraint. After a few minutes, Mahmud Khan could not believe that the old man who was holding the young girl and beating and raping her is him. He simply does not see himself as an evil sadist until confronted with a sad perspective. He felt as if an evil spirit had possessed his soul and led him to do things no rational human being would ever do to another person. If he has a gun in his hand, He may have emptied the magazine of bullets into the TV screen. Faced with the abject reality of what he has become, he felt miserable and wished the earth would open up and swallow him whole. The greatest Bollywood film director understood that if the video reached the police, he would go behind bars for the rest of his life. His great career in Bollywood will go up in flame and smoke, and he will never be able to show his face in public again. He would probably be rejected and disowned by his Muslim wife and son. Thus, he decided to do whatever he could to stop the blackmailer from sending bone videos to the police and the media. His first reaction is to figure out a way to get rid of all the incriminating evidence. In his disturbed mind, Iffat's presence has now become a huge liability, thinking that the only way to dispose of her is to murder her and bury her body in the ground somewhere inside his huge farmhouse. Working out various murder scenarios in his head, he realized that this would not change anything, as this could hardly deter his blackmailer. The fact that he is definitely under surveillance by the blackmailer might mean that his demands would probably escalate if he ever obtains evidence linking him to the murder of his female victim Iffat Khan. Mahmud Khan decided that the best way to neutralize Iffat as a threat would be to make her a public figure. He must take her out of hiding and show her to the public. He simply needs to give her a leading role in his new upcoming movie. He knows that he can still blackmail her and force her to act in his film. The shooting of his latest movie has just commenced, and he decided to cancel the contract he made with his current top heroine and replace her with Iffat Khan. He can get the 23 crores of rupees he gave the actress Alia Bhatt and make his new actress Iffat Khan act for him and pay her nothing. Alia Bhatt is an actress and singer of Indian origin and British citizenship who works in Hindi language films. One of the highest paid actresses in India as of 2019. Her accolades include 4 film awards. Alia Bhatt gets paid for each movie 23 crores, which equals $3.1 million. This means that Mahmud Khan would have to go ahead and pay the 10 crores to the blackmailer and hope that he would act cautiously before attempting another blackmail scheme. If the blackmailer stipulated payment anywhere in India, he knows he could get his money back and have the blackmailer killed. His mood began to lift, but alas, this was not to be. His next phone call from the blackmailer stipulated a foreign account at the International Bank of Abu Dhabi, which has a branch at the Oberoi Hotel in Mumbai. His instructions to Mahmud Khan are clear. He has a week to deposit the ransom, failing which copies of his criminal exploits with his captive victim, Iffat Khan, shall be sent to the Bombay police, Sting News TV, and his Muslim wife and son. Mahmud Khan has a Muslim wife and a 29-year-old son who more than anything wanted a role as a hero in his father's movies, but never got one because he's simply ugly, short, stupid, and fat. The blackmailer promised that as soon as the money arrived in his account, Mahmoud Khan would receive all the videos in the mail. Eager to get closure, the film director asked the blackmailer for a guarantee that he would not ask for more money. The blackmailer simply gave him his word, and that is that. Mahmoud Khan left no stone unturned in his attempt to find out who his blackmailer is and how he managed to sneak inside his bedroom and videotape him while he was having sex with his second Muslim wife, Ifat Khan. He talked to his security guards and questioned all his maid servants and other servants. He cannot find any clues to lead him to the person who managed to penetrate his many army security personnel and guard dogs. He has 4 trained and extremely dangerous German Shepherd dogs, each one being as big as a lion. The 4 dogs are starved purposely during the day and let loose at night on the grounds. Each dog can eat a horse when it is hungry. Besides the guard dogs, he has he has 5 dangerous gunmen securing the farmhouse. When all his investigations have been meticulously done and he is no closer to finding out who the perpetrator is, Mahmoud Khan resigned himself to the fact that he is going to be 10 million Indian rupees poorer. He called the Abu Dhabi International Bank and tried to find out the name of the account holder, but he was told in no uncertain terms that the information he requested was confidential. With nothing left for him to do, Mahmoud Khan went to the State Bank of India to effect the ransom payment of 10 crores. Chapter 8. The mastermind behind blackmailing. The smart person who videotaped the sadist sex, torture, and brutal rape of the evil film director Mahmoud Khan is none other than his new victim, Ifat Khan herself. Of course, without another helper, Ifat could not blackmail her new evil captor and rapist. Her Hindi and English language teacher encouraged her to tape her wicked captor and abuser by videotaping his beatings and sadistic abuse. Her teacher is neither a Muslim nor a Hindu, but a Sikh man. He is an 84-year-old geezer, but no less observant and smart old man. He noticed the change in his young female student disposition. He has seen his female student appear to be very sad, depressed, suicidal, and under stress. It appeared to him that she was going through a difficult time. Thinking he could help her in some way, he asked her about the reason for her depressing mood. She trusted him and told him everything. She tearfully revealed to him the way she is being abused and tortured by her captor day and night. She told him further she wanted to kill herself to escape the beatings and abuse of her Indian husband. She said that his men had kidnapped her from in front of her hotel at Bombay Central and brought her to the farmhouse in their car. Then he imprisoned her and finally married her against her wishes. She did neither want to marry him, nor did she wish to live with him, but he blackmailed her and married her by force. The teacher is shocked when he comes to know that Iffat Khan is not like any of the other pretty teenage Indian girls that Mahmud Khan had brought to his farmhouse. Every one of those young British girls followed him home willingly because they wanted it to be in his films. Every previous female victim agreed to compromise in her honor to appear on the silver screen and be a film actress. Before she tells him her sad story, the teacher is under the impression that Iffat is a new film actress who is going to play a leading role in the director's upcoming movie. Moreover, he saw that she was being kept at the farmhouse until she could learn how to read and write in Hindi and English, which are the main two required languages in India. The Sikh man is loving and kind, and therefore he decided to put himself at high risk and help the new female victim of the greatest film director in Bollywood. Therefore, the teacher is the mastermind behind the plan to trick Mahmud Khan by videotaping his evil sexual acts and then using the footage to blackmail him into compliance. The teacher did not expect the sadist man to pay the huge amount of money he demanded. The teacher used his own female student's bank account at Abu Dhabi International Bank. Iffat happened to have with her still her bank passbook, but as soon as she gave him her bank account, he wisely suggested she should burn her bank passbook and hence destroy her bank information. Neither the teacher nor Iffat, his student, had a clue whether Mahmud Khan had deposited the 10 crores of ransom money into her foreign bank account. The said accomplice who made the phone calls and sent the video on their behalf is an old friend of the teacher. There is only one video. The Sikh old man was the one who smuggled the spy camera inside Iffat's bedroom and taught her how to use it. The camera was installed in a corner and concealed. He told Iffat that just before the arrival of Mahmud Khan, she should switch on the spy camera. The plan worked out perfectly. That day, Iffat Khan put on a fine show, crying and screaming while her evil captor was beating and raping her. When he left her, she switched off the camera. Her teacher came on the following day, took the spy camera from her, hid it in his suitcase, and smuggled it out of the highly secure house. The teacher is the only one in the farmhouse who is living in Bombay. He comes every day by bus and spends 2 hours with Iffat in her room, teaching her Hindi and English. Then he returns home to his house in the Washi area. Mahmud Khan pays him very well for his 2 hours. Even school teachers cannot hope to make 10% of what he receives teaching for 2 hours a day to the new actress. He's an old friend of the director and is a spare actor at times, playing a father or a teacher in his movies, but his real passion is teaching. Mahmud Khan, as a special favor, asked him to teach his new film actress privately how to read and write, and he paid him handsomely because he knew he could trust him. When he came to know of the abuse suffered by his new film student, female student, at the hands of his old friend, he put himself at risk forsook the friendship and started planning her escape. Through her, he came to know she is a victim of kidnap, rape, and forceful detention. Then the teacher took the video and watched it in his house. He could not believe that a human being could be so cruel to beat and inflict such severe pain on an innocent young girl. Before watching the video, he thought of Mahmoud Khan as a successful and highly respected celebrity in Bollywood. He even boasted it among his friends and relatives about his side roles in some of his films. Nonetheless, after viewing the tape, he feels a strong aversion to his friend and is determined to stop what is happening in his farmhouse. He knew that if he took the video to the police authority, Mahmoud Khan would bribe his way out of the ugly criminal charges. Worse than that, Mahmoud has influence and can probably have his friends in the police department frame him with false charges and put him behind bars for the rest of his life. He may even kill his victim, Iffat Khan, to hide the hideous crimes that he has committed against her. So the teacher shared Iffat's problem with one of his old trusted friends. Then he requested his friend make a phone call from a public payphone and told him what to say. He assured him that no trouble would befall him. The blackmail plan worked as planned. Iffat Khan has been released from her prison and transferred to an apartment in Mumbai in a building owned by the film director himself. As before, Mahmoud Khan continued to keep her under his control through his blackmail. Shortly after that, Iffat Khan was assigned her first acting role and she began to act in his upcoming movie. Chapter 9. The new film actress, Aphrodite Khan. The greatest film director in India, Mr. Mahmoud Khan, did everything he could to hide Iffat's identity before he introduced her to the Bollywood film industry. The silver screen will now welcome its newest debutant, Aphrodite Khan. He said in an interview with Blitz magazine that Aphrodite is a Muslim girl who was born and brought up in Iran. Her parents are originally Indian Muslims from Mumbai who left for Tehran before Aphrodite was born. In Iran, her family made a great fortune and became one of the wealthiest families in Tehran. That said, then the greatest Bollywood director claimed that he met Aphrodite and her parents on one of his trips to London. It was in the dancing hall of a five-star hotel where he saw her for the first time. Her marvelous beauty and commanding personality led him to approach her and introduce himself to her. Then he offered her a role in his upcoming movie. Aphrodite liked the offer but said she could not accept such a proposal without the approval of her Muslim parents. After meeting with her parents, he got the go ahead to take their daughter under his wings and acquaint the pretty young film actress with the Bollywood film industry. The film director continued to say that Aphrodite's parents welcomed the idea and allowed their daughter to travel with him to India. Although Aphrodite speaks fluent Urdu and Hindi, she cannot read or write in either of these important languages of India. The reason given, she went to school in the Persian language. She can read and write in English, but she is not fluent in it either. For that reason, as soon as she came to Mumbai, he made arrangements for her to undergo intensive language courses in Hindi and language. For 9 months, she had been taught these two essential languages. She is continuing to study these two languages, which any Bollywood film actress must be fluent in them. Possibly a colonial remnant, India required fluency in English, no matter how many university degrees you have under your belt or whatever you have achieved in science. Without the ability to speak English, Indians look down on you. For them, knowledge of English is as important as the American dollar. According to them, with the English language and American dollars, a person can go anywhere in the Milky Way, which is also called our galaxy, and live like a king or a queen in any of its 2 billion planets. From the time the founder of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, began to preach his new religion in the Sahara Desert of Arabia until the time Mahmud Khan introduced his new film actress to Bollywood, it is doubtful that any Muslim family had ever named their daughter after the Greek goddesses of love and beauty, Aphrodite. That question has been put before the renowned film director to explain. Squirming, he related that he did not know exactly why the Indo-Iranian Muslim family had decided to call their only daughter Aphrodite. But he had observed, he said that Aphrodite's parents were not all those religious people as other Muslims. When he met them at the London hotel, he did not know that they were Muslims until their daughter Aphrodite Khan had introduced them to him. They dressed and behaved like Westerners. They were smoking cigars and drinking alcohol like everyone else in the hotel dance hall. Another question that has far-reaching implications for Mahmud Khan is that since Aphrodite has Indian parents, will she then apply for Indian citizenship? Mahmud Khan has already lied in the interview about the true identity of his extremely beautiful new actress Aphrodite Khan. He said that she was Iranian by birth and carrying Iranian travel papers. He answered that tricky question by saying that the decision to apply for Indian citizenship is an extremely personal matter and must be left to Aphrodite and her family. Then the interviewer asked him if she decided to become a citizen of India. Would she compete in Mrs. Mumbai? Mahmud Khan does not like where all this is going. It is obvious that the media loves her and he does not want his beloved mistress and secret second Muslim wife to gain that much popularity. If she becomes too famous, people will listen to her, and that will not do. So he responded to the question by saying that Aphrodite herself told him that she was not interested in participating in any beauty contest. She believed that as a Muslim girl, her religious faith prevented her from exposing her nude body to men. But Mahmud Khan has contradicted his fairy story about the modern Muslim parents of Aphrodite who behaved like Westerners and drank alcohol and smoked cigars. The interviewer demanded an explanation for the contradiction between the secular Muslim parents and their strict religious daughter who does not like to expose her nude body in public. The interviewer knows no young Indian actress can succeed in her acting role in Bollywood if she refuses to reveal to her viewers and fans her nude body. Subsequently, the director has been trapped by his lies. Everyone who watched his interview knew that he could not give any justifiable answer to that question. Another crucial question that every actor and actress wants to know its answer is why the new Iranian heroine did not appear in person in the interview and answer those important questions about her introduction to Bollywood. Meanwhile, Mahmoud Khan does not allow his new actress Aphrodite Khan to appear in any public place or attend any interviews. Of course, he hid from the media his marital relationship with his new heroine. He restricted her movements and kept her imprisoned in an apartment in one of his buildings in the opulent Bandara area, Banistan. He continued to beat and abuse her sexually as he used to do to her in his farmhouse. He reminded her that she was wanted by the Indian police. He told her that if she tried to escape from his apartment, his men would catch her and turn her into the police of Mumbai. He falsely claimed that he wanted it to hide her from the law, which was why he changed her fairest name and lied to the media and public about her parents. He also lied to her and told her that her dangerous Saudi husband had been released from jail and was still searching for her. He threatened further that he would show the video he showed her before when she was in his farmhouse to her terrorist Arab husband. Unfortunately, he turned her blackmailing video against her. He showed her the same video she had secretly videotaped, and then he lied, saying he was the one who made it. He said that if she tried to run away, he would send the video of her masturbating naked and the video that showed her having sex with him to her Saudi husband. Although she knows about the second video, she cannot say anything without implicating what may have been the only good friend she has. In that case, she will shoot herself in the foot and put the old sick man, her loving teacher, in great danger. Consequently, the blackmailing plan did not change his attitude toward her. Iffat lost contact with her kind tutor as soon as she left her former jail in the farmhouse and was brought to her new detention in the Bandara area. Mahmoud Khan does not bother about her education any longer. He just wants to use her in his movie to make more money, and at night he continues to use her to satisfy his evil, insatiable lust through his sadistic madness of unceasing beatings and torture. Chapter 10. The obsession of one-sided mad love. The new film actress Aphrodite Khan has been transferred from place to place during the production of the film by Mahmoud Khan himself. He used one of his 2 helicopters to fly her all over the cosmopolitan city of Mumbai. Despite the restriction and the threats, Aphrodite was able to meet new people during the shooting of the film. Shortly after her appearance in that elite circles of actors and actresses, 2 young guys began to love her. The fairest one who fell in love with her at first sight is none other than the son of her evil captor. Javed Khan is the oldest son that Mahmoud Khan had with his fairest Muslim wife. He is 29 years old. He is, for all counts, a fairly young man in life. He did not even finish the 11th grade. He desperately wanted to be cast as a hero, but his father denied all his requests. As his father, Mahmud Khan, is keenly aware his son is not highly intelligent and his personality at best is dull. It does not help that he is physically unremarkable, dumpy, and ugly, with his long nose and large forehead, made worse by receding hairline. He is constantly cast in some movies as a villain or a simpleton. And his obsession with young women, Javed Khan is indeed the son of his womanizer father. He always targeted the young woman who acted in his father's movie. Involved in countless sex scandals, he had his father to thank for bailing him out of jail and several lawsuits. There were occasional rumors of sexual harassment and rape, but many usually silence those female accusers. Even so, some of his female victims had talked in interviews exposing his evil character. Whenever the police stepped in and began to investigate any allegation of misconduct, his father would use his influential position and his money to defect the issue. Javed Khan always apologized to his father and promised never to touch a young woman again. He said to his father, "If I can find a young, beautiful girl to marry, I shall withdraw from the film industry and lead a normal family life." His father promised him that he would try to find him a young, beautiful, good Muslim girl for him to marry. Therefore, as soon as Aphrodite Khan showed up, Javed Khan was obsessed with her unmatchable beauty. He began to chase her everywhere she went. He tried to be close to her. He did everything he could to draw her attention and cause her to fall in love with him. He asked her for a date, but she did not even respond. His father knew that his son was going to be crazy over his new lovely Iranian heroine. He warned her about his son. He told her never to accept any gift from him or agree to go anywhere with him. Nevertheless, Javed continued to harass the new film actress. Everyone involved in acting and producing the new movie knew that Javed Khan was crazy about the new heroine. Nonetheless, no one dared to interfere because they knew that Javed was ridiculously hot-tempered and dangerous. He behaves like a Muslim terrorist or a typical gangster of Bollywood. The second person who likes the new heroine is the lead actor and hero of the new movie. He is a handsome young man with an equally charming personality. Aphrodite Khan likes him too. Before she met him, she never liked any man. She used to think that every man was a selfish and dangerous creature. She saw that the man was only interested in the body of the woman, and whenever he got her body, he would hurt and cause pain like one animal, such as dogs and cats, fight over sex on the streets. Her bad experience with now two all-evil men, Sheikh Faiz Bani Ahmed and Mahmud Khan, formed a negative notion in her mind about men and sex. But then after she met the handsome hero with whom she is acting her fairest role, she realized that out of those thousands of men, surely there will be one who can show real love towards a woman. Aphrodite is aware that there are three men interested in her. She passionately loves only one and hates with bitterness the others, father and son, Mahmoud and Javed, who to her is like the devil and his fairest born son. She's enjoying the moments she spent in the company of her hero. Although she is supposed to be an actress only, she is unable to conceal the real passion she feels whenever her body is touched by the hero. Every day increase her love and erotic desire for her lead actor. Slowly but surely, her love is increasing. She always longs for the moment that she can be alone with him. Night and day took on a different meaning for Aphrodite. The rigidity of her schedule is restricted by her kidnapper, rapist, and captor, and led her it led to her days being joy and her nights being torment. During the day, she meets the fairest love of her life and enjoys his company, and at night, she is tortured by her Indian husband, the brutal sadist Mahmud Khan. Her kidnapper and rapist do not allow a single night without visiting her apartment and torturing her through his sadistic rape. His predatory sex patterns have her in a rout, never varying. He slapped, smacked, beaten, and flogged her at will in places that could not readily be seen. The raw control of the exerted it over her. The raw control exerted over her, her sexy body, was as addictive as alcohol and as alluring toxic. The only respite from the torture of the night is the relief of the day when she meets the love of her life. The people around them noticed the love developing between the hero and the heroine. At any rate, as a role, no one is supposed to show any kind of favoritism or emotional attachment to anyone during a shooting. It is an unwritten rule, and the two intimate lovers remain silent towards each other. There are no spoken words of endearment or a longings exchange. The body language of the lead characters belied them. Their eyes, bodies, smiles, and touches speak volumes of their love for one another. One day, the hero is supposed to kiss his heroine on her lips for a few minutes. They rehearse it many times before the actual take. This crucial scene is to be at the end of the film. The hero and the heroine know that that is probably the last time they would be able to touch or gaze into the eyes of the other. For them, it is a heart-wrenching and somber curtain call. They have anticipated that they may not meet again or play hero and heroine together in another movie. Before long, the final day approached. The release date of the movie had already been announced. As is customary in the film industry, the director invited many of his friends and co-directors. Many top film actors and actresses of Bollywood have been invited. Some of them wish to see the new Iranian heroine face to face. They saw her in the media, but none of them has seen her up close. Aphrodite is already wearing the mantle of the Iranian heroine. The Indian heroines coveted her marvelous and unmatchable beauty when they saw her face to face. She excelled in her beauty and surpassed any Indian heroine who had come into the film industry before her. She is an outstanding new character that no one has ever seen or expected to see the likes of which again. She is unique in her height, body, face, hair, complexion, voice, walks, posture, sexuality, and everything else. The last day went as planned and as scheduled. The shooting of the last scene began as soon as all invitees were present. The handsome hero has saved the beautiful heroine from the hands of the monstrous villain who has kidnapped her. After the ugly villain has been shot and killed by the handsome hero, the beautiful heroine runs to her lover and hugs him. Then the two lovers began to kiss each other. Their warm kisses are so real and passionate that everyone watching does not doubt that they are really in love with each other. Instead of few minutes, the kissing never ended. The Indian actresses, already catty and gossipy, began to whisper their suspicion to each other. The other Indian heroes and directors began to smile and look at each other. The greatest film director Mahmoud Khan felt uncomfortable and finally ordered the acting to cease. The final scene has already ended when the hero and heroine go on kissing, oblivious to the world. It is as if their lips are glued to each other and their bodies knitted together. It is clear that the pair of lovers never even hear the director calling repeatedly, cut, cut. Aphrodite and her lover felt as if they were on an uninhabited island. The storyline is just about to take an unexpected twist. It is as if the Bollywood movie is suddenly changed to the Hollywood movie. The good, the bad, and the ugly. While the two are still locked in their passionate kisses, the dead, ugly villain somehow revives, gets up, chamber a live round into his gun, and shoots the handsome hero in the head, killing him instantly. He is declared dead upon arrival at the hospital. The killer is none other than the ugly son, Javed Khan, who is moved by his excessive obsession for the beautiful Iranian heroine, which is one-sided love, and becomes outraged when he sees his beloved locked in an embrace, displaying a reckless act of public love and affection with the handsome hero.